Okay, let's see. All right. While we're waiting for everyone out there to tell us whether we're coming through, audio and all that kind of stuff is working, I want to remind you guys, if you are listening, go to hankstrange.com. That is the best way that you can support us right now. Go there, sign up for our email list. You can see all the different platforms we're on over there. You've got Lola's deals going on there that you guys could check out. She's got daily deals. All that's going on over there. Even links to Ballistic Ink, where you can get our merch nowadays. We've got the Gun Nerd shirts and all that kind of stuff going on. So go to hankstrange.com, and I think that we're feeding through. I'm going to drop the opening.
Welcome
Boom!
back to the Hank Strange Situation.
All right, make sure you guys
Lifestyles
subscribe,
Locked
thumbs
and
up,
Loaded.
ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live here. And we've got a first-time guest, Tim Seargeant of Kriss USA. He's joining us. Tim, we do this thing called jazz hands. So there you go. Look at that. Okay, come on. Everyone's doing jazz hands. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is going to be fun. This is the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. This is episode 525, actually, of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. Our special guest tonight, Tim Seargeant, Kriss USA. We've also got IsYour6Covered. I think later on we might have Babyface P joining us. So let's get into it. Tim, welcome to the show, my friend. I've known you for a while now. This is the first time we've gotten you here on the podcast. What's up?
Nothing much, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been on one of your things before, though. Maybe not this one.
Really? I don't know. I'm an old dude, so my memory, I don't know. Who knows? We've done videos with you. The last time we saw you was at SHOT Show, and we got to see the 22 LR Kriss Vector.
Yeah.
So that was cool. We got to we did some videos, or a video with that. So what's going on, man? Where you at? You're in California?
We're in Southern California, yeah.
All right. How's everyone?
Orange County.
Orange County. Okay. Zombie virus taking over there, or?
You know, I hear a lot of talk about it. I'm not personally worried about it. No one's sick in the office, as far as I know. So.
Oh, okay.
It's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
Not a huge deal yet. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I don't know. Knock on wood. Yeah. Whatever it is you want to do over there. As a manufacturer, do you guys have any special things that are going to go into effect, or?
No. I mean, we've really cut back on our travel. I was supposed to go, all over the place after SHOT Show to do more media for the 22. It's kind of our new gun that we're releasing, but a lot of those trips got canceled. I'm really waiting to see what's going to go on with the NRA annual meetings. I haven't heard anything from the NRA about it, but word around the industry from some of my other marketing counterparts at other companies says that there are big companies planning on maybe not attending or reducing their footprint or something like that. So I don't know. I guess we're waiting on something official to happen.
Yeah. If anyone out there has any rumors or whatever you want to spread, let us know about NRA. I don't know anything either. But we'll definitely get into that here in a second. By the way, I forgot to mention the show sponsored by Harry's Holsters. Shout out to Harry's Holsters. Thanks for sponsoring us. All the folks out there, as you guys are coming in, smash the thumbs ups, okay? We appreciate that. Share this. You still got to help us share it. We still haven't gotten our Facebook page back. Tim, our Facebook page got deleted by Facebook.
You too, man.
Yeah, they said that
surprising.
Huh? Did you guys go? Did you guys go through something like that, or?
I want to say not recently.
Okay.
But definitely a couple of years ago, we had several. They didn't take the page down, but we got notifications oh, your audience. It wasn't sending out our stuff to anybody, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
And they changed the age restriction or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
shenanigans.
Yeah, it's been a pain in the butt. Yeah,
shenanigans for sure. Yes. Like I was saying here, thanks to Harry's Holsters. Let me see what else I'm supposed to remind you guys of something. Anyway, just share this, smash the thumbs ups and all that. I'll try to remember everything I'm supposed to remember. There's no way. There's too much stuff going through my brain. Rick, IsYour6Covered? What's up with you? And
man, just another good day. So I took your advice, right? Remember I texted you the other day. Can you see what those are?
Look at you. Yeah, 0.6 socks. Got the...
No, so it goes farther than that though. So I'm doing a Hank Strange against X-Ring socks.
Uh-oh. Wait,
So
X-Ring has his own
not
socks?
exactly the same. They're not exactly the same, but I figured it'd be fun. You guys talk highly of these things, so I'm like, I'll give them a shot, and I'll do better than that. I'll put them in a freaking contest, see who wins.
Oh,
The Mohawk versus the Darn Toughs.
okay.
But one thing cool about yours, Hank, is it's got a 6 on there, and you know I like 6s.
Oh, exactly. So that's 10 points for me immediately.
That's a bonus point
Yeah,
for you already.
immediately.
You're already 1 point ahead.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, we're talking about wool socks here, Tim. I don't know if you...
You make socks now?
No.
Hey,
I don't. No, I don't make socks. But I discovered.
No, this.
I discovered these socks called 0.6, and they're wool. Like these really nice wool socks, and so I started wearing those. And we were talking about gear one day. I was talking with X-Ring about gear. And what's the name of the socks he likes to wear? What are those called, Rick?
Darn Tough.
Darn Tough socks.
Darn Tough.
Okay. Are they also merino wool? Let me see. Yeah. So
They are. That's why this is going to be a good little stupid test, really.
Yeah. When you start to become an old dude like me, Tim, things like the kind of socks you wear matter.
I mean, I have, those Nike Elite socks when I play basketball, but isn't it kind of warm to wear wool socks? Aren't you still in Florida?
No, but actually it helps keep your feet cooler, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's some kind of sciencey thing, man. Don't ask me to explain it to you.
Okay.
But
it's all magic.
Yeah. We'll figure out what the science is behind it. But it is better. It does keep your foot cooler, and the circulation of air and all that kind of stuff. So I found, like, once I started wearing them, I couldn't wear regular socks anymore. So we'll see what happens with Rick when he does all these tests, how that comes back.
I'll have to look into that. I usually just get the cheap socks.
I'm actually interested to find out.
Yeah, you're interested?
They're not cheap, let me tell you that.
Well, no, they're not. But they're also, so here's the thing about it not being cheap, right? They're guaranteed for life. For life. So the company...
Yes, they are.
What's that, Tim?
The 0.6 socks are guaranteed for life?
Yeah. Are the tough whatever? It's the other...
Both of them.
Yeah.
Darn Toughs. Yeah, they're both guaranteed. I figured it'd be fun to just try them out.
Yeah. Are you going to do a torture test?
I'm going to do a wear test just to see. I'm going to put one on one foot, one on the other, do a whole day's worth of whatever I'm doing for the day, and see how they do.
And someone has to, like, smell your feet or something after that?
No, I'm going to ship those socks to you. And you tell me which ones don't smell as bad.
No, I don't want any part of that. No thanks. 45 Auto
says. On the way.
45 Auto says wicks sweat away from the feet. That's what the wool does. And Razor JB says Darn Tough lasted many deployments. Damn good socks. So that's from Razor JB, and he was actually out there, doing special operations.
Decided to do this was. Yeah, Razor JB's a badass, man.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
He's cool.
I've never met him in person, but I know he knows a lot of stuff about me. So he's one of those guys. So and he's always supportive, and he's very nice. So there we go. Yeah. So you'll report back to us on the sock situation there, and let us know what's going on with that. Let me see. So what was I talking about here? We were talking about the coronavirus thing. I was telling everyone, I think yesterday, that I was going to the broadcasting show in Vegas. That's been canceled. So, just so you know. So now, before I had a conflict, I had to go to NRA or the broadcasting thing, and I was like, forget NRA, I'm not going. Broadcasting thing got canceled, so now I might go to NRA until that gets canceled. And then,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And then, so what would you... So I know Iwa got canceled, right? That was the one in Germany. Were you supposed to go to that?
Yeah, it got postponed to September, and I guess it's going to be in September henceforth. So, yeah.
Oh, from now on?
Yeah, that's what they said. So they're moving EWA from March to September, and it's going to be in September from now on. So yeah, it's going to be before NASGW is another big show for firearms, but that's more on the distributor, business side of things.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, so that broadcasting show, they didn't actually cancel it either. They said that they are, they are like postponing it. So
yeah.
And then this coronavirus thing that's happening is actually going to happen every year. So then no one's going to want to be around this time of the year.
Probably not.
So now every show is happening at the end of the year.
We'll see. We'll see how
it'll be worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's interesting.
That's a bit worse.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to John Crump. He says, am I the only one disappointed that the pandemic doesn't involve zombies?
Yet.
Yes. People still might get people becoming, becoming zombies. Yeah. And John Crump has the Gunathon going on. Let us know, John, is the Gunathon still, that's coming up in a couple of weeks, I think. No, that's supposed to be after NRA. So, is that still going on? Did you.
What's a Gunathon?
The Gunathon is something that GOA, Gun Owners of America, is putting on. Mm-hmm. If you go to gunathon.com, there's a lot of info about that. It's going to be in Northern Virginia, lots of shooting. So, John Crump, you need to reach out to the guys from Kriss, let them know about that.
My cousin used to work for GOA.
Who?
One of my cousins.
Oh, okay. He doesn't work there anymore?
I don't think so. I think he's doing photography or something now.
Oh.
He's a pretty talented dude. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Let's see. Razor JB says, I heard the election may be canceled. Sure. Just gonna cancel America. Sure, Razor. Let me tell you something. They're not canceling that election. There's nothing. This is the election of the century.
Every year they say that. Every 4 years they say that.
What? It's the election of the century?
This is the most important decision of our time or something. I don't know, whatever bullshit they're saying.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to
yes,
say that?
Absolutely. You could curse. We're pretty casual here. You could curse. It's no big deal. Okay.
I don't know what this is rated. I can't have guns on here apparently, so I didn't know if I could use strong language.
Listen, so here's the thing that we could do. Here's what I do, man. This is my protest. I have toy guns. As a grown man, I'm close to 50 years old. This is what I'm reduced to. And for the YouTube people who are watching, because they do watch us, Tim, by the way. They do watch us. They deleted one of our videos the other day. This is a toy. See that? And look, this works too. Listen. So there you go. Dual wielding. But yeah, that's what I'm reduced to, man. This is actually it's pretty pitiful.
That's actually kind of cool, actually. MP5K. I've got toy guns around me too. They're very realistic.
Happened to YouTube.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me see. What were you saying, Tim?
I said I've got toy guns around me too, but they're pretty realistic looking, so I don't want to risk it.
Yeah. Don't throw it up there if we can't explain to the people. What I try to do now is if we throw up stuff, I try to explain this is a toy. Because we actually, so the video. Hey, what's up, Rick?
This is more dangerous than what you had in your hand a minute ago.
Okay. A wrench. Yeah. I agree with you. They're really trying to ban. They're trying to ban our minds. See, this is the thing. This is the real dangerous. Well, maybe not mine. Mine might not be that. Well, maybe it is dangerous. Cause
yours is definitely dangerous.
Which one is?
If there's a bill to ban Hank Strange's mind, I'm gonna sign that.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work so right, which probably makes it like extra.
You got one of those assault brains.
Oh yeah. So listen, the mind is the dangerous thing, and I think what they're trying to do is just control our minds, and It's a silly thing, man. It's a silly thing that YouTube is doing with this whole policy. But they actually so I think it was last week or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. They deleted a video because in that video, one of the guys here, Walter, picked up a wooden stock of a gun. Mm. No barrel was in the stock. No action was in the stock. Oh. Just a empty shell. Yeah, he picked up that thing, and then they said, "Oh, that's a gun." They deleted the video. I protested over and over again. They were like, "No, we saw a gun. That's it." So I kept complaining. And I made them look at it, and they're like, "Oh, that's not a gun." Mm. So we got the video back. I think that was episode 5.
Tell them it was a bunch of toothpicks all glued together.
Say that again.
Did you tell them it was a bunch of toothpicks all glued together?
No.
It was a wood stock, right?
Yeah, it was. Eventually, they realized that it was just a wood stock, but they wouldn't. When I kept saying to them, "You need to look at this thing and tell me where you see." And if you guys want to know, what they were talking about was at 1 hour and 22 minutes into the video, and you can see Walter pick up a wooden stock. It's wood. You can see right through it. And they're like, "Oh, we thought we saw a barrel there." On that thing, so
they're idiots.
Yeah,
silly.
Yeah, so that's that's what's going on. And you, so with social, who does this? Do you do the social media and everything, Tim, or?
Not so much anymore. I've delegated that to somebody else, but I still, I'm still responsible. It's part of my department, but yeah, we've got I was kind of explaining before we started rolling here and going live that we did have kind of an issue working out something with Facebook about posting guns and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it hasn't really been an issue recently. I mean, Facebook's just kind of there now. We interact a lot more with Instagram because the engagement's a little bit better on that platform. Mm-hmm. But they're still not super gun friendly, obviously, and they own they're owned by Facebook. An interesting thing I found out recently, and a change that happened recently, if you go on like the magnifying glass for Instagram, if you want to discover new content, there's absolutely nothing gun related there anymore.
Oh, they took every.
Well, it's like generally that page is populated with things that you're interested in. So I look at gun stuff all the time. I look at car stuff all the time. Racing and stuff. That's the type of stuff that I'm interested in.
Is that why whenever I look there's ladies always popping up in that thing? I'm like, how's that happening?
Exactly.
That's how Lola's gonna bust me.
Now but yeah, I mean, obviously when you're looking at gun stuff, it's gonna show you stuff that you like, but they've kind of nixed that completely.
Yeah. Flying Rich gave us a couple of bucks here. He says, "I thought this was to prevent live gun violence." Yeah, that's what they say. Mm-hmm. They're saying that the whole point was to prevent someone from committing an act of violence while live.
Yeah, there's no. I'm sure there's no data to back that up.
Yeah, there's no way to do that. But the way that they decided to go about it was to go after guys like myself that they know that go live all the time, and then that we're gun guys, and then watch us. And that's how they figure they're going to stop people who want to do something really bad.
Well, they can't stop it, but they can probably stop the broadcast after that New Zealand dude went crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't really think it's going to work. Let me see. Okay, John Crump also says, "Can Matthew get a shout out so he will do his homework?" Okay, hold on one second. This is really important business, Tim. Hold on. I'm going to go. Okay. Listen, Matthew. Here's your shout out. Take your little butt and go do your homework right now. All right. So hopefully, I don't know.
Don't just do it. Get an A on it. Time on it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. Let us know if that
grow up old men like that.
Yeah. Let us know if that worked out there, John. Okay, so listen, Tim, let's start from the beginning. Why don't you tell the folks how you came to start working for Kriss Vector? Give us a little background, how you came to start working with the company and what exactly you do over there at the company in case they don't know. I just know you as Tim at Kriss that, I always harass. That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah. Well, I started actually. The story goes back many years ago when I was doing airsoft stuff. So I worked at an airsoft retail store here in Southern California, and this was also back in when YouTube was at its infancy. So YouTube kind of started in 2006, and in '07 I started the YouTube channel for my airsoft company, and it kind of blew up and did really well there. And then I started. I actually started driving. I started racing a lot, and I joined the BMW Car Club of America out here in SoCal. And then there was the CEO of another airsoft company that was a part of the Porsche Club, and so we would, talk shit back and forth because that's what guys do, right? And then we kind of got to know each other that way. And then I always, kind of looked up to him. He's a real smart guy, a great business guy, great business mind. But since technically I worked for a customer of his, he didn't really want to poach me because, there was a relationship there. But when he actually moved over to Kriss is when I was offered the job there. So, because he wasn't really in an industry anymore, it was a little bit more kosher for something like that. Then that's kind of how I got my foot in the door here at Kriss USA. So, it kind of started with marketing airsoft guns, now marketing real guns. Coincidentally, we've come full circle. We also make airsoft versions of our real guns. So we've got the airsoft Kriss Vector, which is actually manufactured by us, in-house. So I'm kind of still doing airsoft, but also doing real guns. And so that's kind of the short version of it.
Yeah, you'll probably never escape airsoft, Tim. You'll never get away.
Probably not. I mean, it's kind of fun. I know a lot of the gun guys kind of sneer at it, but the guns are cool. If you're, like me, I was too young. When I first started getting into airsoft, I couldn't own a gun. I was only 11 or 12 years old. So that was kind of the primer. And it's got a place. I think it's a pretty useful safety tool. There's a lot of guys out there that are using airsoft as a training. A vehicle for training for gun safety and manipulation and just the basics and stuff like that. So
I was gonna say which gun guys snare at airsoft stuff. I don't know, because I think it's an entry level. Really? Okay.
It's probably not as much these days, but I can remember, maybe 5-10 years ago or so, airsoft wasn't as popular. Plus, I think most people, their first experience with airsoft may be the stuff you see in Walmart or Kmart or stuff like that. And those are generally the entry level, low ring guns on the market. But the airsoft company that I worked for, and the guns that we make, they're on a different level than the stuff you see in the big box stores. They're made out of aluminum, they're CNC machined, and in many cases they're made in the same way that firearms are made. And so when you pick it up, it actually feels like a gun, and that's where you kind of get that training aspect of it, and you really kind of get the fit and feel for it.
Yeah, and I think also, I know not the big budget movies so much, but a lot of movies are using airsoft, right? Because they look so realistic. Yeah, it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper to get an airsoft gun on set. The safety liability is not nearly as high. And even a blank firing gun is a pretty dangerous thing to have on set because of the noise or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if there's guys out there, I think, first of all, as dudes, right, from the beginning, we all what was your first gun that as a kid? Because mine was this.
Yeah.
mine was like my hands.
I had a lot of Nerf guns as a kid, so my gun ownership started very early on with Nerf guns, probably.
Yeah. What about?
Or actually, Super Soaker.
Super Soaker. Yeah. What about you, Rick? What was your first entry into guns?
Mine was a Marlin Model 622 long rifle.
Oh, so you started with live ammo.
Yeah, I grew up on a large piece of property, and basically from the age of 6, I was in charge of making sure the ground squirrels weren't going to run havoc all over the properties.
Oh, okay.
Is that Marlin Model 60? Is that the bolt action 22? Or is that the semi-auto one?
No, it's a semi-auto two-fed.
Oh, two-fed.
I still have that gun, actually.
Oh, okay. So, so you never had any toys, huh?
Great gun.
Never had any toy guns.
Yeah, I mean, I did, but
he got the
it was
real.
Basically,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what
22
I mean,
right?
when I grew up, it was pretty easy because it was out in the middle of nowhere. You didn't have to worry about much, and That's basically what I did. I would get home from school and I'd go have fun and shoot targets or ground squirrels.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah, see, I didn't have that. My first like toy guns were cap guns. So a long time.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
had some Capra as
yeah.
a kid too.
Like, and back in the days, they had the cast iron, the really heavy. You could knock someone out with those things.
Mm. No, I have the
Yeah.
orange. I had the little
Now
orange plastic.
I did have
Oh.
to take.
You did have
I
what?
have lost some
I think
hearing
there's I
from
think there's a
those-
like a
those
delay,
old,
Rick. I think yeah. Go ahead.
I'm in the X-ring layer. It's not the fanciest Wi-Fi, so I'm
Right.
sure we probably have some.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the rolls of those, we would kind of skip the gun and use a hammer or a large rock and make some noise.
Yeah. On the cap the cap rolls. Yeah.
Yeah, the little cap.
Yeah, like the little black powder thing. Yep, that was what. So I remember. So when I was a kid, I lived in England, right? I think I lived in England from when I was about 5 to 8 years old. And every day when I went to school, my mother would give us money, me and my brothers, and
Mhm.
that's supposed to be for candy. But my older brother convinced me to use all that money to buy those rolls of the caps. I'm not sure exactly what that's called. I can't remember. I'm assuming, the little cap rolls that you put in the cap guns, right?
Uh-huh.
So he convinced me to buy all of these, and we stockpiled it. Okay, and then we got our hands on some wire and some batteries, and we're experimenting on the bed, putting all these things together, and blew up the bed. It started a fire.
Is that why you don't? Is that why you don't have hair on the side of your head?
I got so many lashes. Like my mom would give us lashes, take a break, go get something to drink, come
Yeah,
back,
she
give
gets
us
tired.
more lashes. Yeah. So I mean, I always remember that, huh?
The very first firearm that I ever fired was actually a Marlin bolt action 22. I'm trying to look for the model of it though. My grandfather was the one that taught me how to shoot, and then a Marlin bolt action was the first gun I ever shot. I don't know. I thought it was the Model 60, but it's not. It was a tube-fed bolt action gun, like your Model 60, Ray, but it was a bolt action instead of semi.
Yeah, Ray. What was? Do you remember? Was there a bolt action one? Do you remember?
You talking to me?
Yep.
Was there a bolt action one? There
Yeah.
probably was
Yeah.
a model of that. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. but
someone
I don't
out there
remember
will
the
know.
model.
Yeah, someone in the chat, if you know what the bolt action Marlin was that was tube fed, let us.
I think it's called the XT. Well, yeah, that's what it's called now. But yeah,
Mhm.
it was a bolt action, and my grandfather bought that in like 1946.
Oh wow.
Right after he got back from World War II.
Oh,
And
wow.
So,
Hmm. So is
yeah,
that
he
still
actually
in the
gave-
family or no?
Yeah, he gave it to me recently, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I have that gun, the first firearm I ever fired, but I have to go home and look at it. I can't show you now because obviously we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. So, so guns have been in the family for a long time.
kinda like my grandfather. He was he was a more traditional guy, that's for sure. But my dad never got into it,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I don't think any of his brothers really ever got into firearms either.
Hmm.
But yeah, my grandfather, he grew up, he had a farm, so had to shoot coyotes and stuff, otherwise they'd kill the chickens and whatnot.
Mhm.
So it was just kind of a way of life. But
Yeah.
my dad was a city kid as soon as he could move out.
Oh, okay. So your family's been in California for a long time, I take it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've lived here my whole life, different parts of California, but
Yeah.
ultimately ended up back in the LAOC area.
Oh, okay. I mean, how does it feel? Because California's changed.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. How does that feel like coming from an old California family to see all the changes? I mean, California used to be the Wild West, dude.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
In fact, my grandfather's brother, I think he still owns the cattle ranch that they bought years ago when they moved here originally from. I can't remember where my grandfather's family's from. I want to say like Texas or something like that,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, it's only something that's really, as far as like the political landscape, that I started paying attention to recently,
Mhm.
like within the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. Once I kind of became an adult. Started making money, and all of a sudden I see how much I'm getting taxed, and I'm like,
And
yeah,
I left there 5 years ago. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rick, you.
I was in Riverside.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Say that
I
again.
still work out there.
Oh, okay.
I said I had to leave there 5 years ago because I couldn't take it anymore, but I still work in Riverside County. I fly back and forth.
Yeah.
So he's right up the street about an hour. Well, depending on traffic, could be 4 weeks.
So let me get this straight, Rick. You're also from California. Your family's from there, going back a couple of generations.
Yeah, all my family's in California. I moved to North Carolina 5 years ago to get away from California. Just for the fact is I enjoy shooting, and if you want to shoot competitively, have fun, actually live in America, you got to move out of there. And I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. Just I got fed up with all the bull. You couldn't get, I think there's like 10 million gun owners or something like that in California. It was a huge percentage, and you couldn't even get 100,000 signatures to try to push something off a ballot. So the people that do shoot, they don't give a crap about their Second Amendment. And I don't mean everybody, obviously. There was some, but we could never win anything. And I got fed up with that. Between 10-round magazines, and now they're doing, you can't do lead indoors, or I don't know if that got pushed and is completed yet. Rich, you probably know, but it's ridiculous. It just
got introduced, so we'll see. We'll kind of see where that goes.
Yeah. So basically, Rick, what you do is, so you're still working in California, but you live in North Carolina, so how does that work? How do you commute back? Do you have a private jet, or what are you doing here?
I borrowed the Hank Strange one.
Oh, okay. I would like it back, so I could actually use it.
Yeah, you can have it back. I worked for a fire department in Southern California.
Okay.
I'm on my 30th year there, but basically I work out there 8 days, so I fly in a day early. I work 8 days, and then I fly out that morning. I get off, and then I have 16 days off. So I'm here in North Carolina for 16, which is really 14 because I have 2 flying days. Work my 8 days and fly back and forth.
Oh, okay. How long do you have to do that?
I could be done now. I got 30 years in. I did 10 years with the state of California, and now I work for a local agency for the last 21 years. So I got 31 years in. I'm basically done. It's just a matter of figuring out when I want to retire.
Okay.
I'm trying to design another fire station right now, so I don't want to leave in the middle of it. So I don't know for sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Plus, you got to get money to get guns. So, that's important. That's an important thing to do. Hold on a second. So I don't know if this is what you were looking for, Tim. Elster's Rifles and Reloading says Marlin bolt action 81DL and 81D bolt action tube fed. So it might be one of those 81DL and 81D. Yeah. That's pretty intense, man, to be traveling back and forward like that. So
it's traveling sucks. I hate it. I like being with the guys when I'm there, but I like being home just as much, maybe even more. But the flying part is horrible. I'm over it. That's one of the reasons I do want to retire sooner than later. I don't have an official date yet. I haven't given the fire chief. So.
Okay.
I got a good gig going. I'm getting sick flying.
Yeah. Going back and forth could be a thing. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Flying Rich is telling us there's some kind of news about airsoft. Something in New York with what is this? NYPD bus guide for airsoft. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People using crimes. I think the Marlin 81D is it. I'm looking at photos of it. It looks very similar.
Okay, hold on. Let me look this up. Let's see if I could pull that up. Marlin.
Got a Woodstock 2-wheeler magazine.
81D.
Bolt action. That's got to be it, man. I think you got it.
Let's see.
Who is that?
That was Elster's. Yeah, Elster's.
Thanks for the tip, buddy.
Did you have a
Elster.
Did you have a optic on there or just iron
Yeah,
sights?
yeah. My grandpa had an old Weaver fixed 4x scope, I think, on there. It's not super clear by today's standards, but I took that gun out and I fired it recently to re-zero everything in at about 50 yards or so. It's still pretty accurate. I think it'll probably put all my shots on a playing card or so.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a precision rifle, but it'll hit something.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's like a cool. I don't have any of those things. I wish I had even those cap guns that I had when I was a kid.
Right.
Because those are illegal. You can't have those now. Like,
Cap guns you can't
not
have?
the realistic looking one, not the metal.
Oh yeah, they're all orange and plastic. That's
Yeah,
right.
everything has to have these little orange tips on it now. Those things, no man, those things look pretty real. They were like I remember they were single action, like the
Oh yeah, like cowboy guns.
yeah,
right?
like the cowboy guns and stuff like that. I wish I had those, and I think they're still out there, but they're all collectible.
Mm.
You know, so they have a lot of value, but I don't have any of those things. My kids, I got them Red Ryder BB guns. Those were their first.
I have a Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah,
That was my BB gun too.
that's an American tradition. You got to get that for your kids.
Right?
You know, that's
I agree.
yeah, that's from Christmas Story, right?
You shoot your eye out.
Yeah, you'll shoot your eye out. Yeah, man. Yeah, I got my kids those, and guess what they did?
broke it.
Shot out a bunch of windows.
Oh really?
Yeah. Lola was so mad, man. They were, yeah. I'm just.
Do you guys live in an area where you can go out and shoot a BB gun safely, or are you guys kind of in the suburbs?
No, I live in the country, and I've got 6 acres, and I have a range. My range is on my property. I showed my kids the range and everything, but you know, boys.
Still shoot windows.
Yeah. So every time they would do something wrong like that, I would take it away from them, give them lectures, and the whole thing before I would even let them get into guns. And you know, they eventually just started learning all of those things. So you know, and now they're a lot more responsible. But when you're boys, I guess you can't, you know, you got to do some stupidness. Right. We just got lucky that no one shot their eye out. You know?
Yeah.
That's right.
And I know because we were talking about this in the news a couple of months ago. A BB gun, like I think there was a kid that got shot in the eye with a BB gun and died.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that was on the news. I would have to look it up. Okay, here's the story. Oh no, you don't want to go to the
Lovely lady.
Oh, okay. Why are you sending me the story?
Because he sent it to me.
Oh,
When I looked
okay.
at it, that's not the story.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
here's
It's
the story.
almost safer to get your kid a pellet gun.
I googled the story.
A pellet gun doesn't ricochet like a BB gun does.
It's
Mhm.
true.
Okay.
The pellet gun is not even airsoft.
Oh, okay.
That Red Ryder gun's so much easier to load, though. You know, because you just pour the BBs in. It's just a lever.
Mhm.
Pellet guns are a pain in the butt.
Yeah, yeah. They, you know, I think those Red Riders are classic, man. I'm sure. I don't know. Sometime the way that everything's going, who knows? One of these days, those will become illegal.
Yeah, probably.
You know, I mean.
Well, the
I hope
best
not.
part is they're child safe if the kid's too small because you can't crack them. You can't crack it back and rack it.
Yeah. So here's what Elster says. He says, now I think Elster's is from Wisconsin, right? He's from Wisconsin, I think. He says, what's crazy, when I was 15, my dad was cool with me having a SKS. Used to walk through the backyards of my neighborhood to go out to the woods to shoot. Bayonet and all, no SWAT was called.
Yeah. That's kind of how I grew up.
Yeah,
Not with the
olden days.
SKS, but I had this huge amount of hill to go adventure all day long, every day. Like you wouldn't see me as soon as I walked home from the bus getting dropped off. I was gone till nighttime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. In the olden days, people also didn't worry about their kids that much.
True.
They really didn't.
Well, if your kid's running around with a gun, you really don't got to worry about it much.
No, but it's not just that. The parents did. You know, it's not like us. Like you've have kids now, right, Tim? You have kids?
Yeah, my son's 15 months old.
15. Oh, look at that. He's still a baby.
It's still weird
That's
as a baby.
Yeah, that's the best stage right there, man. Enjoy that, by the way. because the older he
Yeah.
gets,
Yeah, figure out how to freeze that.
yeah. I mean, right now, you're his whole world, man. I remember that with my boys, and then when all of a sudden, hormones kicked in, they became teenagers. Don't know me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad, you're
That's
not
what
cool.
I got right now. Hank, I got 2 of those you can have if you want one.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I've got a tough time dealing with mine, man. Now I got to buy them cars and all kinds of crazy stuff. What's up, Lola?
Is Lola gonna jump in and say hi?
Yeah. No, Lola's she's harassing me about something over here on the side. Yeah. So it's if you ever look at the movie Goonies, do you guys ever see that movie Goonies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what
Lola.
I grew up in the 80s like that. I was like in that age category and all that stuff back then. That's how the world used to be. Your kids used to be going all over the place, finding treasure, doing all that kind of stuff. Parents didn't even know. You could go on a whole adventure, come back home. The parents didn't even say, "Hey, how was school today?"
Yeah.
You know?
They didn't care as long as they didn't get called by the principal
Mhm.
or one of the neighbor moms.
Yeah.
You were good.
Yeah. So let's go back to Tim here. All right. So you grew up in California, grew up with guns and all that kind of stuff, but you said you were doing airsoft and driving cars. So you're still a car guy, right? Still into the cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't. I sold my race car a while ago. It's very expensive to race.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I can't, but having a family now, you just have other responsibilities in life. So I'll get back into it one of these days.
Okay, so what are you, like a minivan? Are you in minivan territory right now? What are you talking about?
No, I refuse to buy a minivan or an SUV unless it's going to be a cool off-roading thing. No, I still have a 2-door coupe that I struggle with the car seat to get in and out of the back.
Okay, nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are real cars, 2 doors. I am not a fan of 4-door cars.
Yeah, well, my wife drives a GTI, Volkswagen GTI that has 4 doors, so that's kind of the family car, but it's still kind of fun to drive, so.
Yeah. Are you into any specific kind of cars, or just all kinds of cars, or BMWs, since that's what you're racing?
BMW specifically, I've owned 4 or 5 of them at this point, and, they're great cars, and they're not super duper expensive to own or maintain. That's kind of the thing that got me into it when I first started driving, as I was doing all the maintenance and stuff on it myself. So I didn't have to pay a shop to take care of the car for me. So, when you're doing your own oil changes and brake pads and whatnot, then it's a little bit more affordable to own.
Yeah, is that like a California thing where, first of all, I don't know if it's happening anymore, but guys are into cars and they work on their own cars because you have to have a car to get around, and you got to work on it because it's too expensive.
I don't know. I mean, it was something that always interested me, and so I was always tinkering around with stuff, and so it made sense to me that I wanted to be able to maintain my own car, and so having the basic tools to do your oil changes and stuff like that just made sense to invest in that. And then you start to the mystery of it becomes kind of, you tear it away and you figure out cars aren't really that difficult to work on, and so you start doing more and more stuff to it. So it was just something that always interested me, and I guess a side result is that it saves me money by not having to go to a shop.
Yeah, no, that's a cool thing. I wish I would have worked on cars more growing up. I didn't really work on it, and then I started driving in New York City. So
oh yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, so. Which I guess a long time ago in New York City, people used to work on their cars, but around my time, it's like, mostly it was public transportation.
Did you need a car in New York? I thought.
No, you don't.
Pretty.
Yeah, you don't need a car, but I got to a certain point where I didn't want to take public transportation anymore.
Right. Right.
So I just got like a used car and I just drove that into the ground until it fell apart, and then got another one.
Yeah.
That's basically the thing, because I just really got sick and tired of public transportation in New York. It's pretty terrible.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. And then I worked all the time. So working all the time, it's just easier. Like I did night shifts and stuff like that, and it was just easier to get around and do all those things. So I would like wake up, on one side of New York City, and then, by the time everyone's going to sleep, I'm on the other side of New York City. So it just made it easier, because when you take public transportation at like 2, 3, 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever, you're very likely to get stuck up. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So
Just getting your license in New York City, you should get a special license to be able to drive in that mess.
yeah, I think people from New York are better drivers if they know how to drive. There's people in New York that don't know how to drive, like they don't learn how to drive until they get like really old, if that. But I mean, I started driving, I think, when did I get my permit? Around like 14, 15 or something like that. Whatever the entry level age is for starting to drive. And I started driving like a stick shift and everything, man. I pretty much totaled a lot of cars. I think my first car was a Honda Prelude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totaled my first car too.
Yeah. That's how you learn how to drive. Yeah.
Kind of. So I totaled my first car, and then I totaled my second car because they weren't real expensive cars. I bought my first Beamer was a 1994 3 Series, and it had like 200,000 miles on it. So when I wrecked it, the car was only worth a couple grand, so it didn't make any sense to fix it at all. So totaled. Use that word kind of sparingly, but after doing that a couple times, that's when I decided to start, investing more in driver education, and that's when I started racing a lot more.
Oh, okay. Was it an M car?
No, it was just a regular old 3 Series, a 318. I didn't buy my first M3 for several years. 2011, I think, is when I started really getting serious into racing, and so I bought the M3, and then I, tricked it out with a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay. Let's see if these old dudes over here remember what their first car was. Let's see. Come on, Rick. What was your first car?
1978
Model T.
GMC Caballero, which is basically an El Camino.
Oh, El Camino. Okay, that's cool.
I don't think you ever forget what your first car was, do you? It's a pretty pivotal thing when you're a teenager. You're like,
If you're a man, no. If you're a man, you better not forget what it was. What was yours? I see X-Raying there.
Yeah, I heard the car talk and I had to jump in, especially when I heard BMW. It was like
X-Ring also raced BMW. He raced for BMW, right? Was it you raced for BMW? Tell us what's your pedigree here.
I'm sure Tim's heard of the BMW Performance Center. So I worked for BMW for 13 years as a professional car and motorcycle instructor, and that's for AG, not for the car club or anything like that. That's for AG out of Munich.
Yeah. And no, I drive with the car club, so that's more of like an enthusiast kind of thing that I used to do.
Yeah. Do you ever go out to Thermal since you're in California?
Yeah, I've been there several times.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that was a spinoff from the Performance Center that they have at the manufacturing facility down in Greenville. And so I remember when that opened up, and man, it was hard to get guys to go out there because it has that name. It has that name Thermal for a reason.
I worked out there in the fire service. You'd wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and mow the grass because you didn't want to be there at noontime.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I usually, if I get invited to Thermal, I'll only go if it's not in the summertime.
Yeah.
Wow, why is it so hot?
It's just out in Palm Springs, man. It's in the middle of the desert, so it gets
hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Matt says Z3 M3 wagon. If I could have any wagon, it would be the old E60, the M5. I love that car, that engine. That's an awesome power plant.
The E60, that's with the V10 in it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
When they went to the F body, the F10, everything started moving away from, getting into turbos. That just changed everything. Because you no longer had a linear power curve or anything. And I remember those first ones coming in, and when that hits, it hits. It's explosive.
You guys.
Yeah, I go back and forth about that all the time because I drive a 2 Series right now, and it's obviously the 6-cylinder turbo, and I think it's a great daily driver. But every time, so I sold my M3 to a friend of mine, and so he still lets me drive it every once in a while. And I'm going to take it to a CCA autocross event this weekend. And every time I jump in that car, I'm like, man, I should buy this thing back from him because it's so much fun to drive.
2011 was that was the V8, right? The E92.
No, I had a E36 M3, so it was 95. Yeah.
You wish you still had that, don't you?
Oh yeah, especially since they're climbing in value now. It's a little bit hard.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever driven a M2 competition?
No, that one's brand new. That one just came out. So I've got I have an M2 35i, so it's not the M2.
Okay.
But I bought that in 2014 2014, I think it was the first year they introduced it. But I've driven the M2 several times. It's a great car. It's out of the box. It's so fast. It's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you BMW guys this question while I have you here.
Mhm.
Why? Like, what is it about? I've never owned a BMW, right? But I know the BMW guys are super passionate about BMW. What is it? What's the thing about the Beamer that gets everyone so hooked?
It's a driver's car, plain and simple.
Yeah.
It's just so well balanced, and it performs not only well on the track, but also as a daily driver.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, the driver's car aspect is really the main thing, and also the value proposition. I mean, when I was shopping for a car, I was considering, Porsche, other makes, but when you consider everything, not just the performance, not just the technology in it, and what you're getting for your money, it's really a great value, especially the sport coupes and whatnot. But I mean, being a driver-oriented car is something that I don't see as much of it these days that I did, because my first introduction into BMW, my dad had an E30 3 Series when I was a kid, and I always thought it was really cool that the cockpit was actually angled towards the driver, so all of your HVAC and radio controls were angled towards you, and so you really felt like you were the one in command, and the car was really kind of designed for the driver. So that was my first real experience with BMW, and it's kind of carried over from there when I started getting old enough to drive.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's what a lot of cars are into now. I know the new C8 really just took that to an extreme. If you've seen the new C8 Corvette, which I like it. It's like an aircraft cockpit, but basically there's a wall next to the passenger saying
there's not many cars that are designed that way, and to get that kind of attention to detail from what's effectively a family sedan. My dad had a 3 Series 4-door sedan. It was still kind of cool to see that, because of course sports cars are kind of designed that way. But that's why I think that BMW really hit the nail on the head as far as giving you that sporty feel, to give you a really great handling car, but also provide the value for somebody that doesn't or can't drive a sports car every day.
Yeah. So what do you BMW guys think about these ridiculous grills that because these are the most obnoxious grills that I've ever seen on an automobile. On the front of BMWs. They are bigger than tractor trailer grill. What the hell is happening?
I don't know, man. I mean, that's why I like my E36, and I'm really that's why I think that a lot of the older cars from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s are going up in value, because they've kind of lost their way.
Yeah. What do you think about this, Rick? I'm Ray. Sorry. What do you think about?
The small kidney grills are gone, but if you look across the board, I mean, if you look at the modern pickup trucks, if you look at any Lexus, it looks like the front of a freaking manta ray coming right at you. I don't know what they're doing with the styling. Even like in the pickup trucks, they're starting to get a little crazy with the front ends, and I'm not a big fan of it. They say it'll grow on you, but I don't like it.
I think it's I think they're trying to be aggressive, because a couple of years ago cars looked happy and smiley, and now all these companies want their cars to be aggressive looking. I know I'm into Audis, and like my Audi has a pretty big. It looks like a bass or something like that, Just
like a what?
A bass.
Like a bass. It just has this big mouth. But I just the craziest thing I've seen is BMW grills, though. They just don't make any kind of sense to me.
It's like they're trying to make it new and modern, but they're still trying to harken back to the old days of the kidney grill. Like, it would almost be better if they ditched the 2 kidney grills and came up with a new design, but then you lose a lot of that characteristic of your classic BMW styling.
Yeah. That's too. It's there's weird things happening. What do you guys think about all-wheel drive? Like, this is why I'm into Audi, right? I like the Audi Quattro. BMW was not really known for that. But now I notice that BMW, Mercedes, and other companies, I mean, always you had like Subaru and stuff like that. But now other companies are getting into all-wheel drive. What do you guys think about that?
Well, BMW's had the X Series for quite a while. When they started producing the X3 and the X5s and all of that, they're very, very capable. If you've ever been to the Performance Center and see what those things can do off-road, you really would be amazed. One of the things that I used to do as my job is we would take all the competitors' vehicles, all-wheel drives, and they would have Volvo and Audi and BMW, and we would typically go cold climates, and we would put on basically exhibitions. We would let people get in the cars, try to go up the roller ramps and all that. But that all-wheel drive system is, the Subaru's got a great one. I will not take anything away from Subaru, but the BMW all-wheel drive and the X-Drive, they're very capable, more so than you would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people want all-wheel drive now. I saw I saw that like Mercedes, all their models are all their cars are gonna start building all-wheel drive. People just want that, not just for rain and snow. I think people just like the control or something like that from all-wheel drive systems. It's kind of becoming a thing.
I've never used all-wheel drive like appropriately, like off-road, but that is something that interests me, and I do want to build more of an off-road capable car, because going to the gun range in a lowered Beamer is a little bit tough.
Yeah,
you have to go these dirt roads and whatnot. So yeah. Looking at some of those X vehicles. Plus, I have a lot of friends in the car industry that can help me get some parts for, cheap or free. So that's always a plus.
Yeah. When
Get a lift for that.
Say that again?
Get a lift kit for that BMW, like a 6-inch lift kit or something.
I don't know about all that.
I don't know about all that, but it's kind of funny. So
you can make a Safari version. You can make a Safari
new
version.
off-road trend now is to build like an overlanding car out of like a compact SUV, like a RAV4 or something like that, instead of like having a big honking vehicle. So I don't know. I wanted to take like an X1 or even that what is it called? The F-34 3 Series, the Gran Turismo, which is a really ugly looking thing. Mm-hmm. But they have it in X-Drive, and like you said, it's more capable than you think. So, lifting something like that and, throwing a rooftop tent on it might be kind of fun to take outdoors sometimes.
Yeah, for overlanding.
Yeah, I just did an overlanding trip right after SHOT Show. I went with WTF SoCal, who has a channel out in California, and he's got this Jeep that's just, it is completely decked out.
Cool.
You couldn't add anything else to it. And we went to Joshua Tree and then Anza Borrego. We had a really good time. We spent 4 days out there, and it was an awesome trip.
Yeah,
that sounds like fun. Yeah, that's definitely what I want to do, is get off the grid for a little bit, for a weekend or so.
So what I was going to say about that is, if you're really serious about doing overlanding, you probably should just get a Jeep, right?
No.
Or okay, if you don't like Jeep, then get a
Toyota
4Runner, man.
Man, everyone's got 4Runners though.
I
Have
know,
you
that's
ever
true.
seen a lifted 3 Series?
I like this
the
guy.
only one in the world. Because no idiot is dumb enough to build custom parts to melt that thing, except for me.
Have you seen like how?
Yeah, but you're the guy that's going to be broken down on the trail and no one can give you a part because you've been in some crazy shit.
A 4Runner will be coming to save you.
Yeah, exactly. Or a Jeep.
Yeah, or a Wrangler or something like that. Also, you know what? There's some Range Rovers. I think like those Discoveries and stuff like that are pretty good. I know Range Rovers don't have a good
reliability reputation.
Yeah, but a lot of people get
horrible.
Well, a lot of people get the older used ones.
They're horrible.
And they don't wheel well either. I got stuck in the sand in one of those stupid things.
The problem with the Land Rover, and I've had a couple of them, is I turn my own wrenches, just like Tim was saying, and when it gets to the point where it gets old enough to where you need to start turning your wrenches, you can't find the parts. You can't just go to the dealership and say, I want this. They're going to say, no, we're not going to sell it to you. So now you're stuck with trying to go to find a totaled one somewhere and pull parts off of it. And talk about losing money. I don't think you can, maybe other than a Maserati, you're not going to lose money more than a Land Rover, probably.
There's a certain point where you stop losing money. The person
when you have to pay somebody to take it.
Here's $30.
The person who first buys it, maybe the person who second buys it or third, you got to be like the fifth or sixth dude to buy
but
that
there's
Range
a reason
Rover.
why it's getting sold. It won't run.
Yeah, you've got to get that Range Rover when it's $500. Then you're good.
Yeah.
You can't go in. You can't get any worse than that. Yeah. Okay. Elfsters is saying that I want a Cybertruck. I actually did. You know what? I know this is gonna sound bad. I did put.
You put the on that one.
Did
you put the deposit down?
Yes, I put a deposit on a Cybertruck. And if Tesla actually makes those Cybertrucks, I'm getting one. That's the only Tesla vehicle I've ever been interested in.
Yeah.
Just because it looks. Come on, man. It's like for a kid from the 80s.
$1,000.
That was the dream. That was the dream. That thing looks so cyberpunk.
Yeah, it does look cool. I'm not gonna knock it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't buy one, but I think it looks neat.
I'm that crazy. I'm crazy enough to do that. But I think I'm interested to see what it could do. See if we could put a machine gun or something on there. What we could do with it. You know, I think
enough money and determination, anything is possible.
Yeah, it'll be cool videos. Have you guys seen like how Porsche is doing? Not Porsche. Porsche's not doing it, but people making those Safari Porsches. Have you seen those? So basically, it's a Porsche, and then it's like it's lifted. It's got big knobby tires on it and a roof rack. You haven't seen these?
There's been several privateer teams that race like, you know, Porsches and Baja, like endurance races.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like a 911 off-road car, or like the Cayenne?
No, like like the older 911s. I think they call it a Safari. There's and I've seen that there's some company, I can't remember the name, in California that makes those for you. It's kind of like a California bug out vehicle that lots of dudes are buying.
You mean like a rally car?
Yeah, it's like they call it I believe it's called a Porsche Safari. Let me see if I could find this. Like, you guys, I know I was at SEMA show last year and I saw quite a few of those, and I was thinking, man, this will actually be a cool kind of build to do. Yeah, it's called a Safari Porsche. So here, I'll throw my thing up for anyone who's looking. So you see how these Porsches look kind of jacked up. Here's a good one right there. Big knobby tires, big wheel up on the roof of it. That's pretty cool. I think that's cool. So, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That'll be a nice build for you guys that could wrench.
Yeah, but Porsches are so expensive. That's where I get back to the BMW being such a more
even the old ones are getting expensive now because
those are the most expensive ones, man. To find an air-cooled Porsche, it's ridiculous.
I know. That's true. So,
but yeah, that look is super cool. I agree.
Yeah, it is. So why not just do pickup trucks, guys? What's the deal with you all?
I don't know, man. When you wanna build a car, you wanna build it to be like unique and your own. You know, like a lot of dudes do pickup trucks. Mm-hmm. So that's why the BMW thing that's gonna be my shtick.
Okay, all right. I'm looking forward to seeing this.
I'm not a car guy. I could care less about cars. I'm more of a pickup 4runner-y kind of person.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have four-wheel drive, I don't want the damn thing.
Yeah, I think a pickup truck is very utilitarian. We've got one, and Lola drives it most of the time, and she loves that thing. But also, she's very short, so it gives her a sense of power. You know, when she's in a big old pickup truck, she thinks she's the king of the hill, wheeling around. So it's a lot of fun.
She is. Compared to every little guy driving their little car around. You'll run them over.
Yeah, I try to convince her to get rid of the pickup truck, and she was like, "No, I'm not doing that." So, and I've noticed she's not the only one. But I agree with what you're saying, Tim, because here in Gainesville, every other person has a 4Runner.
Right.
Yeah, including I had one, and that's one of the things that Lola was like, I don't like seeing, like, driving down the street and seeing everyone driving a 4Runner.
Mm.
You know, so, like, you know, you do want to have something different. All right, let's switch this a little bit here. I carry my revolver in single action. Says, Hank, what do you think about Biden and the hard hat worker talking about the 2A? Have you guys seen that? Have you seen this this particular thing that happened with?
Yeah, I saw it. What did he say?
Yeah, basically.
Talking to the workers.
Yeah, so basically, Biden was at one of the, you know, he was doing a rally. And there was a guy in a hard hat that came up to him and said, you know, why are you trying to take away the Second Amendment? And then Biden started cursing him out and telling him off. You know, calling him a liar, saying he's not trying to get rid of the Second Amendment. He's not trying to take away your AR-14.
Yeah.
I think that was the big line that everyone stuck on. Yeah.
He actually endorsed Trump the other day too.
Who?
Probably the same day on a different comment.
No, that was fake news. News.
Did he forget about it?
No. That was fake news. That was fake news, actually, Ray.
That was?
Or who said that? Rick? Yeah, that was fake news.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that someone in the Trump campaign edited video of Biden talking to make it look like he endorsed Trump.
Oh man, those deepfake videos are so crazy these days.
Yeah.
You can't even tell.
But this wasn't this wasn't a super deep fake. They just recorded him talking and then edited out something that he said to make it look like that. And then I think Twitter labeled it, like now Twitter, Facebook, and all these places are going around labeling things as fake news. And a lot of stuff that's not fake news. So if you post up something and they think it's fake news, they label it. I think that particular thing, there was some editing involved, so they labeled that fake news. So, but politicians. I mean, Biden's going to talk out of both sides of his face. I'm not surprised by that. To be honest with you, Trump talks out of both sides of his face when it comes to the Second Amendment, in my personal opinion. I don't think he's all super Second Amendment either.
Yeah.
They're pretty close to being the same thing. Huh?
I think if he's really gonna push to try to do like national reciprocity or something like that, it's gonna be in his second term.
Oh God. Here's the thing. I hope gun guys do not fall for the okie doke again, please. Gun guys, don't do it. This is how gun people killed the suppressor market, right, Tim? I'm sure you saw this happening, even though that's not what you do.
Waiting around for the the Share Act to go through.
Yeah, suppress. I remember this. What was this like? Was this 2-3 years ago that the people started the rumors? I think it was suppressor companies kicked off the rumor that killed their own selves. That you know what? They're gonna take suppressors off the NFA. You won't have to do paperwork.
It wasn't a rumor. It was actually proposed, and it was going through Congress. But yeah, I mean that was the thing. People were just kind of waiting around, like, oh man, if I don't have to pay $200, then I might as well wait for it. So
shut down the whole market.
Mm-hmm.
Shut down the market for suppressors, and then and listen. I think it kind of worked that everyone went out there and voted Republican, and Republicans got super majority. And then every time they said, so when are you taking that stuff, off the NFA? When are you going to give us reciprocity for CCWs? And they're like, oh, just wait until the midterms. Never happened. So my advice, so I want all of that stuff, by the way. If you're curious to know, I would love to see that you could just go into the grocery store and buy a suppressor.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't?
Awesome. Everyone, I think we were saying this before we came on air. Everyone should have a freaking machine gun. We're here talking to Kriss Vector.
That's right.
The absolute reason for machine guns.
Right. Every gun should be a machine gun.
Every gun should be integrally suppressed machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm all for that, but it's a fake out.
Suppressor in jail right now.
Huh? Say that?
I got one suppressor in jail right now. I just started.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's a big fake out to think these guys are going to do anything about that.
Yeah.
They had their opportunity and they didn't.
It wasn't until after the midterms when they lost was it the House? That the proposal went through for national reciprocity. I was like, man, too little, too late.
Yeah. They had everything. They had a super majority. We gave them Trump. I voted for Trump. Okay, even though like I said, I'm not a super fan. I went in there, voted for him, voted all Republican down the line. Boom, Republicans are running everything. They went in there, no reciprocity.
Yeah.
No suppressors for everyone. Everyone thought, suppressors are going to be like $30.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So easy to make. Like a little muffler for your gun.
If you guys really want to know, I say do not fall for that. Okay? Want it. It's not a bad thing to want it. They should do that. But don't fall for that. Don't fall for that trick. Don't fall for it again. And basically it really, maybe the suppressor, I don't know what you think about that, Tim. Do you think the suppressor market took off too much before that, and that's why it came down so drastically?
No, I don't think it took off too much. I think, people started to realize how easy it was to get a suppressor. I mean, obviously, for me in California, it's a dream, right? I can't even do it even if, even if I had, I don't even know. I think I would have to have like additional paperwork on top of the whole SOT or, the tax stamp, So at least you guys have the option to do it outside of Cali. But I think the mystique again, was it's just too difficult. So I think Silencer Co. and some of the other companies did a really good job educating the market. Hey, it's really not that difficult. In fact, we'll help you set up your own gun trust. We'll help you do this, and then it became more accessible that way.
Right.
And plus, like I said, suppressors are they're relatively easy things to make. I mean, as far as like silencing stuff,
Yeah, it's technology.
Down.
Yeah, the tech has been around for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think that's what was it? Hiram Maxim, the first people to come up with the suppressors. I think it was Hiram Maxim. Someone will correct me on that. But they invented the muffler, and then they invented the suppressor. Basically, a muffler for your car, suppressor for your gun.
Yeah, the principles are the same about,
I think it was one guy invented the muffler, and then his son or his grandson came up with the suppressor, right? Something like that. Someone will straighten me out. But for now, I'm correct. For now, I'm right. Until someone figures it out.
Did you say now?
Yeah, for now. So... yeah, I think we really got to be careful with that and not fall into that. Were you so at Kriss? I don't know if you can talk about this, but at Kriss, were you guys thinking about getting into the suppressor market?
We make suppressors.
Okay, you do. Okay.
Yeah, we make suppressors for our guns. It's not something that we actively market. Okay. Because we can't be as competitive as some of the other.
So it's not. So you don't just make suppressors for. Because, like, for example, at SHOT Show, I like to go to you guys at Media Day and shoot up your ammo. Yeah. And shoot, like, for machine gun, suppressed guns. Yeah, that's, like, one of my favorite things to do. But you don't make it just for yourself. Someone can buy a suppressor. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, our guns are threaded, just like other guns are, half by 28 for our 9mm. Et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, they're not made specifically for our guns. But, when they're under development, we use our guns for the development of it. So it's kind of optimized for the Kriss Vector. So, yeah, we make cans and, we do sell them. It's not something that we actively market as much as the Vector does. Other guys make suppressors that are a little bit more visible for, for everybody else out there.
Yeah. Elster says, Hank, it's Hiram Percy Maxim. So there you go.
Elster again with the answers.
He's a big gun nerd. God bless him.
Came up with the Jeopardy question.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's see. And what is this? DCG 44 says Maxim called it a silencer. Okay. All right, there you go. There's some kind of controversy about that where people get mad if you call. It's like it's like a clip. You ever see the guys that don't know anything about guns and they call the magazine a clip, and then just gun guys are just waiting, to attack dogs, to go after the guy who calls the magazine a clip. Which, by the way, you should be nice explaining that to people. Like my barber is a gun guy now, and when he first started getting into this, he would call the magazine a clip, and I very nicely said to him, "Listen, I don't care what you want to call it, but these other gun dudes, yeah, they will rip you a new one. So I'm doing you a favor right now. I'm very nicely trying to tell you, don't call it a clip. Don't embarrass me."
The confusing thing about clip is that there is actually a feeding device called a clip, right? Like your M1 Garand will use a clip. Yeah. So that's kind of the interchangeability thing. But yeah, the whole silencer suppressor thing, it doesn't silence.
Yeah. Yes, I know. So that's...
Mac did a video on that, though, and he basically breaks down how it was when, what was it, 1946 or whatever the year was they started that. And it was worded like via, I think it was either, not the serial numbers, but the patent as a silencer. That's how that kind of originated. Now, I don't remember the year. I was just throwing one out there, but Mac had video on that back in the day.
Oh, okay. Gun Doctor TV says it's because the word silencer is used by mainstream media to make it sound more scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun.
so what if they make it more sound? So then what are you going to do? Then whatever you go over to, they'll just make that sound scary. So I don't know. I get it, but
Well, until they can buy a louder, you know.
no, there's louders. There's louders. It's called a freaking muzzle brake.
No, but I mean like louder.
The Noveske KX3
Yes.
definitely makes it louder.
Those things are so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take that and you put on a louder.
hmm
You know what I'm saying?
hmm Brian Quick is saying that Kevin Brittingham started ASA when he owned AAC. AAC had a campaign to educate people on buying silencers. Kevin Brittingham is that the guy from Q, right? From Q, I think is that the same guy? Someone will correct me on that. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't know all the cool people. The coolest person I know is Tim. That's about it. That's all. That's the only person I know. And he's been trying to distance himself from that from the beginning. So okay, so listen, let's talk okay. Now everyone out there knows about the Kriss Vectors, you know, all the different calibers and everything. The new thing is the 22.
Yep.
We were talking about this a little bit, I think, before we got on air, and maybe a little bit when we started here. What's the status of that? Is it available right now in the U.S. or not?
It is. Yeah, we've been shipping them out since SHOT Show.
Okay.
So they've been going out, you know, slowly and surely since January. So
Okay.
yeah, you can go out there and get one. We've got the 2 different models, the 3 different colors. We've got the arm brace version and the carbine. So
Okay.
yeah, they're out there. They're trickling out.
Okay. So are you guys able to turn out a lot of them? How's the production on that going?
Yeah, actually, the 22 was a great learning experiment for us. So we really streamlined the production on the Vector 22, and the things that we learned making the 22 are going to help us make the centerfire Vector more efficiently. So yeah, we're able to crank those out pretty easily.
Okay. So and then what price level are we looking at? I think it was like $650.
Yeah, 649 is the MSRP. Although I've been seeing you know, the street price is around or below $600, so it's the most affordable Vector that you can get.
Okay, and then what kind of feedback are you getting from here inside of America and what's going out there?
Really, really positive. Yeah, so far.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I think I mentioned it. It feeds everything real well except for those bucket of bullets, unfortunately.
Bucket of bullets. Yeah. Yep.
Just about everything else, you know, Aguila is feeding really well through it. I've shot a lot of CCI through mine, and that's worked really well. And so,
Okay.
you know, the performance and the reliability is pretty good so far that I've seen as far as you know, my personal experience goes. But the feedback from the end users is also pretty positive now. It's still kind of new, so we'll see what happens when guys start putting, you know, 10, 20,000 rounds through it in the future. But so far, so good.
And what was your capacity on your magazines again? Because I know, usually Kriss Vectors use Glock magazines, but Glock for some reason didn't want to work with you guys.
Well, I mean, we didn't co-create the 22. So when the original Vector was developed, Glock had already been around. So that's why we were able to kind of develop the Vector with the platform of their magazine in mind. But you know, they developed their 22, we developed our 22. It wasn't like a joint project or anything like that. I was just kind of being silly at your SHOT Show video, but
no, yeah, I know. I mean, I wish that you guys would have done something, because one of the biggest complaints of the G44 is the fact that it's just a 10-round magazine. That's all we got.
Yeah. Well, our magazine's 10 rounds as well, but we also have a 30-round mag coming out, and I don't.
Oh, so okay, so that's.
I can't show you anyway.
Oh, if it's not in the gun, we could show it, but.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I don't have one within arm's reach. But yeah, so we have.
When's that coming out?
Shipping with the gun. It was supposed to be this month, but we're doing some quality assurance on it, so it's not really ready yet. So a couple of changes have happened. So once we can get it reliably feeding properly, then we'll have it out. The next projection is that it'll be out by the end of April.
Oh, okay. Of course, there's lots of people right now in the chat requesting that you send Kriss Vector to them for them to test. I think they're covered.
We've got we'll put you on the list.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of people volunteering their time for that one.
I think they're covered for people testing it. Okay, so you guys will have 30 rounds coming out. Yeah, you know what? It's too bad that somehow you didn't work with Glock on that, because I think it would be great to have a 30 round.
I mean, we wouldn't have turned them down if they wanted to do something like that. But Glock's a huge company compared to us.
Absolutely.
They're so.
Yeah.
And
they make the thing about the G44, I think, is that they really didn't make it so much for America as for overseas market, right? Is that the same thing with you guys with the Kriss Vector, the 22? Did you really make that for overseas more than America, and then you got surprised that Americans liked the idea of it?
Yeah, I don't know what Glock's motivation was. Can't speak for them, but yeah, the overseas, the international gun market was definitely a major contributing factor to us kind of focusing on rimfire. There's a lot of countries out there where you can't own anything bigger than a 22 LR. So, a lot of the overseas gun community is real ecstatic to have finally something that looks really cool. And that's kind of where we slid in there with our DMK-22 also. You have a couple of those guns.
I'm a fan of that DMK-22. If you guys don't know, it's an aluminum AR, but it's 22, right? And works just like an AR, has the same weight as an AR, and the amazing thing is that it uses a 10/22 barrel, so you could swap You can swap that barrel out, which we did, and we put in a integrally suppressed barrel. So we're gonna have more stuff coming up on that. Actually, we just had to get the barrel working, tweaked right.
Right.
That's the one drawback when you change the barrel.
Yeah, it is compatible, but it's not like a plug and play system. No. So it's going to require a little bit of work. Yeah. But back to your original question. Internationally, there's a lot of gun owners out there. There's a lot of gun enthusiasts, but they're just limited on their options because they can't have 223, they can't have 308. But 22 LRs, it's allowed, and the DMK-22 is one of the best quality rimfire guns that you can have. It doesn't feel plasticky. It doesn't feel like a toy, So, DMK-22 does really well internationally. The Vector, we saw that what the DMK was doing, and so that was one of the major motivations to develop the Vector in 22. Obviously, we've got a lot of internet trolls saying oh, why do you have a Vector that doesn't have the Super V system? Well,
it's not necessary.
It's just cheaper to make the gun. With the rimfire round, you don't need it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
By the way, Rick, if you have any questions here on the 22 Vector, feel free to jump in. I was getting people telling me in England that it's available over there, and like you said, I think there are people in other countries that are very excited to actually be able to get their hands, get their hands on this. And I know there was some kind of show, and then this guy was telling me, hey, these things are actually. They're actually becoming available over here, and it's great for those guys to get their hands on something like that that's not like airsoft. Right. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah. I got a couple of questions. The first one is, how's California with having that company out of California? Are they, do you see them pushing harder to try to get you guys out of there? Or they like the money that you generate for the state? Or, because I know they're not, great pro 2A kind of people.
I wouldn't say the state is specifically after us per se, but first of all, the office I work at is just a marketing and sales office. All of our guns are made in Chesapeake, Virginia, and the manufacturing for Kriss has always been in Virginia ever since the beginning. And actually, there's a lot of gun companies that are in California or started here, so it's not like I don't know. It's an interesting place to be. I mean, think Armalite was originally based out of Costa Mesa, here in Orange County, a long time ago, and they made the AR-15. Obviously they moved out a long time ago. But yeah, so we don't really have a lot of guns here at our office because it's just kind of a business and sales office. The thing that's really kind of disheartening, and we were kind of touching on it earlier again. I wouldn't say the state's completely against us per se as a company, but yeah, the taxes are really kind of pushing a lot of business, not just firearms companies out of state, but a lot of people are thinking on moving just so they can keep more of the money they make.
We've seen a lot of residents out too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then the second question was, what is the mag capacity for the 22 LR, Kriss Vector?
It ships with the 10-round magazine, but like we were saying, it comes. We're gonna have a 30-round mag once we can get all the quality assurance stuff ironed out. Hopefully by the end of April.
Nice.
Yeah. And
That was it.
go ahead.
No, I was saying that was it.
Oh, okay. By the way, there was a comment here from James Lawson that I don't want to forget to get in. He says, "I love my Kriss Vector 45 carbine." Thumbs up.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, so there you go. If there's any other Kriss Vector owners, let us know. I know you guys also extend the 9mm and the 45 magazines, because I think you've got an extension that goes to 40 rounds on the 9mm, right?
Yeah, we make a kit for. Okay, so the Vector's always been fed with Glock magazines, and you have to use the factory standard, size magazine, and then we make a base plate kit to extend the capacity. So we make it for the 9mm, we make it for the 10mm, and we make it for the 45 ACP.
Yeah. Someone here wants to know, let me see, who is this? Ewell Adams wants to know why so few rounds in the 22 magazine. Why
so few?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not on the engineering team.
Well, and I think also probably...
Is 30 not enough?
No. I think he's talking about the 10 rounders, probably so that you can get it to more states and get it overseas, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a marketing and business aspect to it. So, we're still in California, we're still gun guys, but we just can't have, higher capacity magazines. So, making the 10 round mag the default makes it more accessible. And, we don't have as many SKUs or specialty configurations on, the paperwork side of things. So that's why the 30 round mag's an accessory. The gun ships with the 10 round by default. And plus the flush sitting magazine, for me personally, I think it looks better. Just kind of a preference thing.
Yeah, I think that this is what you guys will see with a lot of companies. And, it sucks. There's definitely a way to fix it.
The Glock 44 and the 22 mag. It's like 10 rounds. Come on.
Yeah. That's everyone's number one complaint. Yep. You got to complain to the people who keep infringing on the Second Amendment. making that.
There's a couple of lawsuits going through California recently that are kind of promising. So you guys heard about Freedom Week last year?
Yes. Oh yeah. Who didn't hear about Freedom Week? That was insane.
Yeah.
How many magazines did you guys sell?
California drained the entire country of their magazine supply. We couldn't get Glock mags to build our Vectors after that for a couple of weeks. But there's another case going through challenging California's assault weapon classification. So the same judge that ruled against the magazine capacity rule is overseeing, or is going to make a decision on the California assault weapon classification. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic about our Second Amendment rights here in California and across the nation.
Yeah.
You were kind of touching on, the national political, decision makers, but I really think a lot of what affects our day-to-day life is what happens at the state level and the local level. So I would encourage people to pay a little bit more attention to what's happening closer to home.
Yeah. This is a tough, obviously you guys are Californians, right? So you understand this better than I do. But even I can see that California, it's this weird situation going on there. For the most part, you're talking about a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Right? And there was so much that came out of California, not just gun stuff. There's so much design, development, and all that kind of stuff that happened in California. So many people that have deep roots and all that. And it's not as easy as saying it to just get up out of California, especially if your roots go if your roots go way back like that. And at some point, we all have to fight. So I've moved around. The reason why I don't live in New York, we moved to New Jersey. The reason why I don't live there is because of this stuff that we're talking about. But ultimately, living here in Florida, Second Amendment rights in Florida have come under attack and have been suppressed. So at some point, we all have to get together at home, wherever we call that.
They've been suppressed or silenced.
Well,
yeah, but hey, I can tell you from experience that the people at the time before I had left, at least, they weren't willing to get off the couch and go fill out a petition. And And there was petitions everywhere. There's people doing it at the grocery stores or in front of the gun stores and all over the place. And you couldn't even get 100,000 people to sign that throughout the state of California.
Yeah. I don't think that's just California. I would say that's happening in Florida. We have gun control that's in effect in Florida. Florida is not really the gunshine state anymore. Look at Virginia. So, and even though it looks like things got turned around in Virginia, that's a small representation of the people that actually turned out there. And I think this is what's happening around the country, that most people are feeling very comfortable right now and really are not paying attention. Even the folks who we think would be dyed-in-the-wool constitutional Second Amendment people, they're really not turning out, and they're really not putting the pressure on the powers that be, people that we all abdicate the responsibility of this stuff to. So I think we're in danger of that all over the country.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not saying, like, you know, I know for you, Rick, you know, you're leaving California and you're doing that. I'm not saying not. If anyone out there could do that, do it. But eventually, where we run into? Are we all going to try to go across the border into Mexico or something?
Oh no, that's even worse.
Yeah, so
you have to go through the government to buy guns in Mexico. There's only one gun dealer in Mexico.
There's one gun store, but yet there's a lot of guns. Weird.
Did you say there's one gun dealer in Mexico? Would that be United States?
That's the ghost one. That's the ghost one. That's what happens. Yeah, but there is technically one gun store in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not going to be able to keep running here, and we somehow have to convince more people to get up and pay attention to what's going on. That's just the reality. There's states now that were such strong gun states. Do you feel 100% safe when it comes to the Second Amendment in North Carolina?
Well, there is a couple very liberal counties, or whatever you want to call them, that are like anywhere, that are voting to the left. And but luckily in the state of North Carolina, there's enough people that aren't in those big cities, so we're good as of now.
Yeah,
but no guarantees for sure for anything.
Yeah,
it's really the cities that are
I'm
the
not running away
epicenter for this kind of thing.
I'm staying here.
You're staying in North Carolina no matter what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if they start some nonsense there, we got to figure out how to get everyone activated. I'm not saying it's easy, because I just don't think it's easy. I think it might be easier to sell people the guns than to get them to fight for the right to have the guns. A lot of folks think, oh, if I get this gun, then they'll never take it from me. They'll never try to take it from me. It'll be grandfathered in. Who cares what they do? Everything that they're writing now, if you guys haven't noticed, there's no such thing as grandfathering anymore.
Yeah, that's the scary thing.
Yeah. So I think people need to pay it. I'm not saying like we're like preaching to the choir here. Yeah. But it's the other folks. Like when we talk about the NRA, we were talking about the NRA last night. There's still like 5 million or so people that 100% support the NRA. They have no clue that there's problems going on at the NRA. They have zero clues.
Yeah.
You know, when I go out to the show, I ride those buses with those dudes. They have no idea what the hell.
The whole thing going
down. They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I wish they had the time to go to GOA or something, because, man, GOA is doing a kick-ass job for as small as they are, which is, you know, they're getting bigger by the, you know, minute, but they're doing an awesome job. They're really pushing for stuff where the NRA is not.
Yeah, I think somehow all of us have to, like, do this. I think the big problem is if we're abdicating the responsibility of it to any organization. So I'm not trying to knock GOA or any of the other great organizations that are out there doing it, but it's all of our responsibility ultimately. We have to be the backbone. I think for a long time, people just gave money to NRA, and NRA was the backbone for politicians, and then one day that all melted away. You know, and now when you have someone like Bloomberg willing to drop $500 million just to play around with becoming president, you know, and there's ulterior motives and things like I've heard that he set up offices. None of those things are getting closed. They're still going to be using all of that as a network to push for gun control. So maybe that was even a way to, like, do it and then write it off on the taxes, right? We're still facing all of that. So it's going to take more than 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 different organizations. It's really going to take like everyone every day trying to do something about it, which is not easy. You're going to get burnt out. You know?
Yeah.
Well, like when I was in California, if you wanted to shoot at the range that was the closest to me, you had to be a member of the NRA. You could not. Basically, when you filled out your thing for the year to pay for that, they either confirmed you already had your NRA number, or you had to sign up for NRA to be able to shoot there.
Yeah, it's a racket. It's like the mafia almost. It's weird how that is. You know, it's like Teamsters. Like Teamsters, yeah. I don't know if you, anyone here ever in a union? Maybe you, Rick. You're a firefighter.
When
no?
I worked for the state, I was, yeah.
Yeah. I was a Teamster at one point. That's it's pretty much mafia. So that's not a joke. Yeah.
Straight up mafia.
Yeah. John Parsons has a question for you, Tim. He says, "What is the round life on the Kriss 22 LR barrel?"
The round life? I don't think we've reached it yet. Yeah, I'm not sure what the upper limit of that would be.
How far have you guys got tested?
I'd have to ask some of the guys that have done the testing. I haven't done the personal testing myself.
Yeah, so you don't know how many rounds you guys have gotten to so far, right?
Well, I don't know how. Yeah, I mean, I know we've shot at least, one of the guns has at least 20,000 rounds through it, but the upper limit of when the barrel's going to go out, I'm not sure we've reached that yet.
Yeah, Rick, do you have any idea, like, usually how long 22 barrels?
We kind of talked about this just off there kind of deal the other day with the X-Ring, but like that Marlin Model 60 that I have ever since I was like 6, that thing, I mean, and without exaggerating, I can't give you the perfect amount, but that thing has, I'll just say bazillions of rounds to it, right?
Is that scientific?
But it's a round that's not smoking fast, so your barrel's going to last a lot longer if it's...
Yeah. So
I got squirrels running around over here having fun.
Oh.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
Ray's like a squirrel trapped in a cage right now. He's like all over the place.
He's bouncing around. So let me ask you this, Tim. The barrel on the 22 Vector, is that similar to the barrel on the Defiant? So in other words, is that a 1022 barrel or
not a 1022 barrel? No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so you're not going to have that kind of interchangeability with it.
Oh. Okay. Is there any kind of interchangeability with that? So you buy one and then foreseeably later on get a integrally suppressed barrel and swap that onto?
No, but it's threaded, so you can put a can on it.
Okay.
It's threaded 1/2 by 28, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's easy enough to put something on it. Okay. So you guys aren't going to sell replacement barrels or anything?
I mean, we're always going to make parts available for the guns.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, it's really relatively uncommon thing to shoot enough 22 LR to really jack your barrel up. You got to be doing a lot of shooting.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like, if you want to, so like if you get a long barrel and then maybe you get like you do SBR paperwork or something and.
Yeah. Well, we do. Yeah, we have the pistol version of the gun, so yeah, you could feasibly buy a barrel or buy.
Yeah, or just buy the pistol then. Buy the pistol.
Or just buy the arm brace version. It'll save you some headache of dealing with the ATF or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not the barrel interchangeability on the Vector is not super easy. It's you can't really do it without some specialty machining. So anytime we do need to change the barrel on a gun, we always have it done at our facility in Virginia. Or if a gunsmith happens to want to take on the job, then they can try it. But it's not really a user serviceable item, and I don't imagine the 22 is any different.
Okay, all right. Then let me ask you this then. Like within the parameters of whatever you could talk about here, where are you guys going in the future? What's the future look like? What are you guys developing?
For Kriss products?
Yes.
That's what you guys will be doing.
Yeah. There's multiple things going on. I know recently, so you kind of like two different companies, right? You're with the regular handguns you guys are making, you're separate companies, and then I think everything's all one now, right? Everything's under this?
Well, we've always been one company, but we've just kind of divided all of our products into different brand names, for the organization in that respect. So, so Sphinx is our line of handguns. They're kind of based on the CZ platform with the way the slide sits inside the frame.
Mm-hmm.
There's been talk about developing more handguns, more competition kind of based handguns. That's kind of where the roots of the brand kind of began is through high-end, very accurate IPSC competition guns. And then the SDP, what we offer now, is more of a duty gun, more of a carry kind of gun. So there's been talk about going in that direction. Applying the vector recoil mitigation system, or at least some sort of recoil mitigation technology, to a different firearms platform has been talked about. So the vector is kind of nearing its its final form, or I guess you could say we haven't really made any major changes to it since it was introduced. But like I said, we've learned a lot by developing 22, and so applying what we've learned to different platforms and different calibers is something that we plan to do in the future. I know a lot of people are always saying, "Oh, you should do the vector in 50 BMG or something," or whatever, something ridiculous like that.
50 BMG. Okay.
Well, the original engineering for the Vector, we actually did develop a 50 BMG vehicle-mounted prototype. So we've applied the technology in other areas. So it's just a matter of maybe doing it, for a rifle caliber or something like that. I'm not confirming or denying that at this point, but I'm just saying it's been talked about.
Did you just start your own rumors?
Yeah. You just found one for your mounted Jeep you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's going on that Beamer truck, whatever.
You're close enough to Virginia. You can swing by and take a look at it.
Oh, really?
We've got a big vault of all of the stuff that was developed for airplanes and Jeeps and trucks and stuff like that.
Are you saying if I'm in Virginia, I could go by and take a look at that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Set up.
Lola's family's from Maryland.
You gotta leave your camera outside. I'll bring you inside. You can't show your fans.
No, but hey, I still want to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, we've got family in that area, so and we'll definitely be there for that gunathon. So.
Okay.
Unless it gets
canceled. I want to be there with you, so maybe we'll wait till this coronavirus thing dies, and then I can hop on a plane.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If you want info on the gunathon thing, I'll tell these guys to send you an email or something like that. But yeah, who knows, man? Definitely. Maybe they'll tell the gun guys to have the thing so the coronavirus could get us, all of us. Take care of us in one fell swoop.
Right.
Yeah. So should we get suggestions from people on what Kriss Vector should develop next? Yeah, I think that would be cool. I think that's what you want to know.
we hear the comments all the time. Everybody wants it in their favorite caliber.
Right, but you've done 10 millimeter, right?
Yeah, 10 millimeter. We have it in 40 Smith & Wesson, although nobody buys that except for police.
Oh, what about the 10 millimeter? Are you selling a lot of those?
Yeah, the 10 mil is actually really popular.
Oh,
the 10 mil is super cool, especially because we have the 10 millimeter magazines that hold 33 rounds in the 10 mil.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, so it's good to know that's because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I want this. I gotta have this thing," and then people build it for them, and no one buys it.
Yeah, that's always the thing. We have to weigh how much people say they want it versus are they really gonna buy it, because it is a business decision for us.
Right.
So the 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter has been kind of making a comeback, and I'd like to think that we're kind of helping that along too. I think 10 millimeter is just a badass round. I really didn't know much about it until we started developing the gun, and I started to research it, and it's super cool, man. The ballistics on that are really awesome.
So when are you making the 6.5 Creedmoor?
See, everybody wants it in their favorite caliber. I can tell you that there's no plans right now to do that specific caliber.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the Vector, like you're saying, is, that is a good platform to put some bigger calibers on, but still in smaller guns. Something that you could tuck into a backpack, right?
Right.
Like 300 blacked out or something.
Yeah, 300 blackout, easy. Yeah.
300 blackout's been talked about. So, like I said, we've got a lot of stuff going on in different directions, different calibers.
Just blink like
And-
this. Just blink like this, Tim.
and to give you guys the link, when you say the right thing, I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, give
I
us
won't
a.
say.
Oh, okay. So
That's
everyone right now,
I won't
just
say yes or no,
Yeah.
but I'll say.
what calibers are you
I'm
thinking, Rick? What calibers are you thinking?
I was thinking that 300 blackout would be kind of cool.
Yeah, 300 blackout. That's a good round
Because
to
you could
suppress.
suppress that,
Yeah.
short barrel, be a good little entry gun or something.
That's come down in
Well,
price.
that's why I was kind of mentioning that we're really looking to take what we learned with the Vector and apply it to a different caliber and a different platform. So I'll tell you guys, like, if and when we do develop rifle caliber stuff, it's not going to look like a Vector because just the way that the mechanics works, it's not going to work to eject a shell that's long. It would have to be an enormous thing.
Mhm.
So, like I said, throughout the development of the Vector, we've learned a lot. So we've got some stuff in the works. It's probably not going to be called the Vector, but it'll be
Something. Yeah.
something like it. You know?
17 HMR might be cool. That's a smaller, still fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
22
Well,
man.
that's actually a lot of something that's been coming out of Europe a lot too. Is that as soon as they got the 22 LR, they were like, "Hey, we do a lot of hunting with 22 Magnum. What about that?"
22
So
Magnum,
that's something
yeah.
we're looking into.
Or 5.7. Everyone's doing 5.7. I don't know, man. The more I think about it, I'm not super. Like we just took a look at the Ruger 5.7. I wasn't super impressed versus the FN 5.7. You know, obviously there's the PS90.
I've only fired a 5.7 once, and it was a P90
Mhm.
machine gun,
Mhm.
and it was awesome. But
Of course.
everything should be a machine gun.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be a good round because it is smaller, lighter, faster, and there's more and more people now, I think, developing 5.7 stuff. I don't really know if the market's really there for that or not.
See,
You know.
I mean, the main drivers for people to buy guns is usually for hunting, self-defense. Other than that, I mean, we are seeing a lot more people buy guns just because. I think that we're one of the beneficiaries of that type of market where it's like, oh, I saw the Vector in a movie or a video game, and I want one because of that. So, and then they'll have it in whatever caliber's available.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Brian Quick says there has to be some hipster wanting to see a revival of 3.56 TSW. I don't even know what that is.
No, Brian, you're the only one.
Yeah. Okay, Rick, do you guys know? Does Ray know what the hell is 3.56 TSW? Ray probably knows.
He's shaking his head no.
No. Okay.
We gotta
No.
ask Elster. Elster's got all the answers.
Yeah, there you go. Elster will know. Elster will know. Ewell Adams says 308.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Brian Quick also says 38 Super FTW.
38 Super would be cool.
Yeah. That's very popular. Where's 38? 38 Super is very popular in Mexico, right?
That's PSA.
Oh, okay.
Vector's gonna bolt a precision bolt gun on a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on. What happened? What are you talking about? The 6.5? Don't believe anything that he's saying. Don't believe anything he's saying, Ray.
I just wanted his eyes to perk up. I told him they're making a precision bolt gun in a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah. When is Kriss Vector going to make a bolt gun, Tim?
That's got to be years down the road.
Yeah.
We're probably better off buying a bolt company because we don't have any expertise in that at all.
If you really want to be sci-fi, go make a bolt gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you do it right there. You guys, Kriss Vectors are still in a lot of movies. Is that like the biggest marketing tool for you guys, being in movies, TV shows?
I don't want to say it's like a marketing tool. It's definitely something that we welcome. It's we make the Vector available. We work with like I said, ISS. A lot of movies are made obviously here in California, and so prop houses, the big prop houses that existed before a lot of the gun rules came into effect, have all of the old permits for machine guns and stuff like that. So ISS is one of the bigger ones, and Hand Prop is another big one out here that supplies most of the guns to most of the movies you see.
Yeah.
So we have a good relationship with them, and we get them parts and stuff when they need them, and they're able to manufacture the guns when when they need to. So yeah, it's a cool thing, but just because the prop houses have it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to end up in a movie. So it's just kind of it just kind of depends. You know, we don't pay for that kind of advertising, and we don't pay movies to use our stuff. If the creative direction of the movie requires something that looks sci-fi, it's usually the prop house that will suggest something, and then, you know, the director, whoever, will make the call. Or if they already have a particular gun in mind for a particular character, then and that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, like
but,
if it was written in the story. We've had Larry Zanoff from ISS on the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've been out to Independent Studio Services. Amazing.
Yeah, got a great collection of guns.
If you're a gun guy and you walk into that place, you're gonna lose it. Yeah. That's the biggest. Is that the? They probably have the most guns in America, right?
I don't know. There's that guy out of Colorado.
Okay, there is the Dragon Man, but he's got a lot of artillery and all that kind of stuff. Dragon Man. I went there also.
ISS probably has one of the biggest gun collections in California.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah, they've got tons. They've got like warehouses packed with airsoft, non-functional guns altogether, actual guns, and then I think they build stuff also. Yeah,
they're a manufacturer as well. But like I said, the ISS has been around for decades, and so the permits that they have. I remember talking. You guys remember Richard Ryan? He used to do YouTube a couple years ago. He was making videos out of California for a while, and he was trying to get all of the permits for his explosive whatever, and then in manufacturing and suppressors and stuff like that. And the way California works, in addition to your federal stuff, California DOJ requires you to duplicate that paperwork with the DOJ. And it took him years to get it, to the point where he doesn't even really do gun videos anymore, so it's not really useful to him. But ISS has all those permits, and so they're one of the few places in the entire state that can have suppressors, that can have machine guns and whatnot.
Let's see. Okay, we've got some feedback on this 356T thing. Let me see if I can. All right, I'll get this up here for you guys. 356 is a Smith & Wesson developed cartridge. Did not catch on. That's from CloverTac. So there you go. Okay. Now you learned something. And CloverTac also says there were a lot of vectors in one episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. They were bounty hunter space guns.
Yeah, it's almost always a bad guy gun. I saw the most recent trailer for the new Westworld, and Vector's going to be all over that thing. Yeah,
I think so. The last season of Westworld had a lot of P90s and stuff like that. I don't
know. I only saw season 1, to be honest with you.
I didn't
catch up on the second season.
Yeah, I've just been catching up to the second season because the third season's coming out. So awesome. Yeah, there's going to be vectors in there.
The vectors in a lot of guns that you wouldn't recognize either unless you were a gun guy, because they usually dress it up with a body kit or something like that. Like Cable's gun in Deadpool 2, you know, it barely looks like a vector because it's got a Thompson stock and a 203 and other stuff on it.
Yeah, so this is from John Voorhees, and he's a younger guy. He says, movies and video games are what help me pick out the guns I want to buy and shoot. Boom. There you go. That's true. And my kids know everything. They think they know everything about guns. And they play a lot of video games.
Because they use it in Call of Duty.
Yes, exactly. You know, so they're always trying to tell me how I'm, like, saying something wrong or whatever. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. So CloverTac says the largest private collection in the country is the J.M. Davis Museum in Oklahoma, but that's a private collection and museum too. So there you go. And let's see. Someone's talking about 357 SIG. Do you make a 357 Vector?
Okay, so we actually did begin the development of a 357 SIG Vector, but it never got completed.
Okay.
And because the demand really wasn't there.
Yeah. Round's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But that's another one that's really cool. Once you learn about the ballistics and how hot it goes, it's a neat round.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish that someone here would have come up with the round that you guys are developing. Come on, man. You know, you guys have to come up with something. Maybe are you working on a railgun? You know,
Oh
like
no.
a Kriss Vector that just shoots some kinds of discs or something like that. You know,
Nah.
bolts of lightning. You
Yeah.
know, you should be work with Elon Musk and help him instead of that stupid flamethrower thing that he did. That was quite frankly embarrassing. But he sold.
Shoot some lightning.
Yeah, but he sold a lot of those. You know, if that wasn't a scam, I don't know what was, but that was pretty funny. Did you see the flamethrower that?
Nah.
So Elon Musk through the Boring Company, right? You know what they're digging all those holes, all the tunnels and stuff like that, which I think is cool. I think that's cool. But to raise some money, he developed a flamethrower, and basically all it was like a barbecue flamethrower, a barbecue starter, you know, with a little bit of gas on it, and it was like the casing for the gun was pretty much like a super soaker kind of thing. You never saw the Boring flamethrower?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta look that up. Here, I'll throw if you folks out there haven't seen that thing from Elon Musk.
Put a link to it.
Yeah. Actually, here, let me pull this up real quick so I can put this in the chat here, and that you can take a look at this. It's really insane what.
Yeah, that guy's got a lot of crazy ideas.
No, this was just a straight up fake flamethrower.
Oh, it wasn't even real?
No, he says he called it not a flamethrower, but still sold it for a ton of money. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is from the company. I'm gonna send you this so that you could I'll put this in our chat so you can take a quick look at this. As a gun manufacturer, I want to know your professional opinion on this, and you know what you guys think about it. But here, I'll throw this up here for everyone that's watching too, so you can see what we're looking at here. The Boring Company, and basically this is just like a can of gas that you can get from anywhere, and Elon Musk called it the Boring Company, not a flamethrower. And they sold 20,000 of them. They're basically just toy flamethrowers.
How much were they?
Doesn't X Product make one of those too?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I wonder. Let me see. They don't show the price here. Someone probably remembers what the price was of it. I know that when he went on, when he was on Joe Rogan, he actually took one to Joe Rogan's studio, almost set the studio on fire. So yeah, Yule Adam says it's a torch like I used to burn weeds. So, Elfster says it was actually a roofing torch in an airsoft rifle shell. So,
Airsoft rifle that looks like that.
Yeah. So that was, it's interesting what people throw out there, but they sold 20,000 of them.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know how many Kriss Vectors you guys sell on a regular basis. So, and then Gun Doctor TV, who was on with us last night, he says, Hank, I can totally make a real flamethrower attachment for the Vector. And by the way, so Gun Doctor TV, he has a video where, have you been looking at the Mandalorian series?
No, I don't have Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. You're not nerdy enough, man. I thought you'd be way more nerdier. But
and I race cars, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I know you're too macho. Yeah. Anyway, so the Mandalorian series, he has this gauntlet flamethrower in there. That's not even real. But Gun Doctor TV made a real gauntlet flamethrower, and he has a video that he posted up of him flaming a Baby Yoda.
What's the effective range of that thing?
I don't know what the effective range is. I'm just surprised. He's from Kentucky. I'm surprised he didn't.
I'm surprised he didn't burn his hand off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised he didn't burn himself to a crisp.
I saw a video of some dude that made I guess it was like an Iron Man flamethrower or something, or maybe it was the Mandalorian one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that didn't go well for him because he ended up burning half his body.
No. That wasn't Gun Doctor TV. He still has all his parts. He still survived. Luckily for him. All right, listen. I won't. We're at 9:00. I don't want to keep you going here because I know you're still at work. I'm gonna start to wrap this. It's been a fun conversation, man. I don't know if you had fun or not.
Oh yeah, totally.
We did.
This is super cool.
Yeah, we had fun harassing you from my point of view. Let's do this. I'm going to get everyone here to tell the folks who are watching or listening to us how they can follow, keep up with them. I'll start with Rick and Ray over there. I don't know if Ray's still over there or not. But Rick, you can tell the folks out there. Oh, there he goes. There's Ray.
Come on. Come on over, check it out. IsYour6Covered is the channel name with the letter 6, or the number 6, I should say.
Yeah, and then mine is X Ring, just X-Ring.
Awesome. There you go. And Tim, how can the folks out there that want to keep up with Kriss USA, how can they follow you guys? If someone wanted to communicate with you, ask questions, what's the way for them to do that?
Yeah, our website is kriss-usa.com. That's where you'll find all the most up-to-date information about our products. And we're at Kriss USA Inc. on like Instagram and Facebook and whatnot. But yeah, you pretty much, if you look up Kriss, Kriss, something about us will come up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, on my part, you guys, what I would say is I would ask everyone to go to hankstrange.com. That's the best way to follow us nowadays because we have control of that. You know, so with everything going on with YouTube, I just think that's the easiest way. Go there, sign up for our email list. We're giving away stuff, doing all kinds of cool things through that. Everyone stay right there. I am going to drop the end on this video. Okay, so make sure that you guys subscribe here to the channel, leave your comments, thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. For anyone who wants to listen to us on audio when you're like in the car traveling somewhere, if you want to be driven totally out of your mind, you know, have the trip go by real fast, you can listen to us on audio while you're driving. There's lots of people all over the world. There's at least like 2 or 3 people downloading the audio and listening to it, so we appreciate those guys. I really do appreciate Tim Sargent from Kriss USA for coming in, hanging out with us for 2 hours, as well as Rick and Ray, X-Ring, and IsYour6Covered. Tim, thanks so much, man. I think it's been fun.
Yeah, totally, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you. I don't know if we're going to be able, if we're all going to do the NRA thing or not.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait and find out if they're still going to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see with that. Thanks a lot, guys. Shout out to everyone out there. Thank you so much. Any final words before I press the button here? Anyone has final words?
Hit the bell.
Yeah, that's right. Ring the bell. We're out of here. Peace.